Hello everyone, we're here today to talk about the technique of transfers, and this isn't the how to do it situation. This is simply a collection of things I've learnt in doing it, and some of the processes that were explained to me that I made mistakes and then realised the best way to do them, and so on and so forth, explained in my way. So hopefully that will be of help to some people. Is a giant A4 sheet of Dark Angels transfers that I've been referring to a lot. This one is actually a tenner, yeah, from Forge World. That's not good, is it? I mean, that's a sheet of transfers there. That's pretty expensive, but there we go. But you see, the problem is the standard Space Marine transfers. They have very limited numbers on. They've got like a 2 and a 6 and is it a 7 or something like that. Yeah, so I wanted a squad 4. So that wasn't going to work out, was it? Because they didn't have 4s. So I had to buy this, which has got every number on that you could possibly want, even 10. And you have to go into that size, the very, very tiny ones for Dark Angels, even though there are other number ones, because the way Dark Angels are built, where you put their squad markings, if you wait for the camera to sort itself out, that little section there, that double arrow on the shoulder, that's where it goes down, right? And that is small, so that you don't have the entire surface area. So anyway, that's what we're working with. That's what I'm working with. But just a few words about the active transfers. So just a few quick tips that I've picked up. You're going to want a mat. You're going to want one of these cutting tools of some sort. Stanley knife or just something. Just because, you know, a pair of scissors, well, quite literally just can't cut it. Really fine. I mean, look at the size of these numbers, right? Compared to a model. I mean, really just tiny little things. I had to go down the row and just chop them out one after the other. And the other thing is that you're going to want to bear in mind that you've got the I mean, those are white transfers, so you're not going to be able to see anyway. But you've got the design, the shape of the thing, and then the entirety of what's around that shape on the transfer is all backing paper. But it's all made of the same stuff, isn't it? So, you know, it will all slide off, all of it. So you want to try and cut as close to the outline of the shape that you're using as possible. So you really want to get in there, and if there's like a bit above, try and get in really finely and trim that across. And the reason is because on models like this, where these red double arrows stand right out off the shoulder, they're actually built up off the model, these numbers only just about fit on there. Just, it is snug as a bug with giving a hug. And anything over, and I have done this and made the mistake of it, you get like the little bit of backing paper stuff, the basically transparent extra transfer, a little bit of overhang, and it's either hanging over the top or over the bottom, wherever you left it, and it's potentially noticeable. And it's not an ideal situation for you, is it? And now the other thing that they recommend when doing transfers is to work with some varnish. So Ardcoat here, in this case, Citadel Technical I'm using, and obviously water and some sort of rag. And I'm not going to do the process because I'm trying to hold the phone at the same time here. I'm all alone, I have no assistant. But literally, you know, I'm sure you know how to do transfers, but on there, onto something that will soak it nice, and then you can even put it around the edges so that it gets it from all directions. Something that you can pick up that's like that, because that way, when you come to want to slide the transfer, you know, you can really segregate the area that it's on and put that bit right up against what you're putting it on, and then, you know, brush it over onto it. So you'd put on a bit of hard coat first onto the surface you're working onto. And I use 2 brushes for this because I don't want hard coat touching another brush. So I'd put on the hard coat here with this large brush, and I'd be doing the waterwork here with the standard brush. And then as soon as the hard coat's on and this is soaked, I'll slide it off onto there and just give it a little go round. And then very, very carefully take the paper and push it straight. It's got to be flat, okay? You can't really come at an angle, and you can't slide. So you'd have to come at the model head on with the paper. So it would be like a brick wall hitting it, yeah? And you'd literally want to just dab straight on, not slide it or wipe it or anything like that. You want to dab, push fairly lightly against that transfer. What you're trying to avoid doing is pulling it off, because even though the varnish is on there, that can still make the transfer wet. But excess water in, under and around that is going to be a problem to the transfer, and it's still going to slide about and might still come off, especially if it's a big model that you're putting other transfers on elsewhere, because you'll be touching it somewhere, and I guarantee you'll come away and go to the first transfer you put on, you'll be like, where's that gone? And then you realise it's stuck to your bloody finger and it's all twisted up, and you're going to have to go get another one. That happens. You don't want that happening. And then the other reason for drying it is because that goes on straight away again. Now remember, the transfer's going on while that is still wet on the model, yeah? That's an important note that is quite easy to miss, because it goes on. That's why you dab the water off, and then you put a light coat of that on top again, on top of the transfer. And then that seals it in and seals it on, above and around beautifully. And then you'd finish that off with a matte version once dried, and that would be Lamian medium for me, another technical. And I like going at the entirety of a model in some sort of matte anyway, to bring it down to a more realistic tone. You know, I don't want shiny things, they put me off. So anyway, that's kind of some ideas on how I operate with transfers, and I'm going to get off and carry on with this bad boy. I'll see you at the next one.